Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing, love the way you look in the mirror, and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food. It's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from createyourself.today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. And today's episode and the next couple of episodes to the end of the week, we will look in details into my latest blog post. And the title of this blog post is Look and Feel Sharp, Keto and Low Carb High Fat. Updates to my keto journey to 10% body fat. And so in this blog, guys, I wrote about 5 common mistakes or habits, or whatever you call it, that folks, I did them all. So that's how I know. And I also worked with a lot of people. And every time we do this routine of 5 steps of changing things on keto and low carb high fat lifestyle, people get results, and particularly more energy and less fat, body fat, not fat in the food. So this blog got pretty popular already, more views than my other blogs, maybe because I used Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love book advice, 10 pieces of advice on writing before I read it and I decided to apply it to my writing. I don't know. Anyhow, so 5 habits, 5 changes to your lifestyle, to your habits on keto and low carb, high fat diet that will help you to get more energy, also get rid of a lot of smaller health issues that you might be experiencing, and to get less body fat and to maybe finally see your 6-pack abs. That is, in my opinion, the best kind of outfit. But that's just my humble opinion. So after I wrote this blog and I posted it, in a couple of days I got a comment on one of my social medias, I believe it was Twitter, that it would be great if I could write a follow-up with more real-life details, real-life examples. Basically, my blog post that is mostly about theory, even though you can, use it, you can figure out simply, it's not like scientific blog, it's very conversational. So this blog was about theory of those 5 things, 5 habits, 5 routines. And so the request was about me writing a follow-up blog with more real life examples and brands and food substitutions. And it felt, it just really made me think that, this post and like a lot of my content actually, because I believe, because I've been in this nutrition coaching for a while, for me it seems obvious, but what I start notice more and more, that people do have troubles with details because people do not live in that world. This is my profession, my obsession. So a lot of things that seem obvious to me, they're not obvious to the most people because it's not your occupation, not your area of expertise. So I've decided to write this blog follow-up on Sunday. That's when I do my most long form writing. But also, I decided before that to prepare for that blog post and make podcast episodes for you guys with practice of these few simple habits, routine changes on keto and low carb, high fat lifestyle in order, again, for you to get more energy and to get less body fat. Especially great if you've been struggling with moving a needle forward with your fat loss. And yeah, you might feel great, or might feel better, but you'd like to look a little bit better, get a little bit less fat on your body, and get a lot more energy. So today we are talking about the first one. The first principle or concept or mistake that I notice people do, I did that too, that prevents them to get to that edge when you really feel amazing. So the best way to approach the whole routine is to implement those 5 steps all together. That's when you're going to get results for sure. When you do just one, it might be the thing that has been stopping you, but it might be a combination of several of those. So I recommend to do all of them, and over the next 3 days, today and Thursday and Friday, you're going to learn all of these steps. So without further ado, let's dig in. The first point in my blog, Gut Milk, that's the subtitle of it. Cheeses, heavy cream in your coffee, lots of grass-fed butter on every piece of vegetable that slides into your mouth. Does it sound familiar? So this one is about dairy products, guys. That might very well be the reason why your six-pack is still covered with a solid layer of fat. Not just because about 65% of adults are not capable of properly digesting dairy, NIH statistics. Not just because of the poor quality of most dairy products on the market. Not just because dairy is pasteurized and homogenized. Not just because dairy increases inflammation and causes all sorts of gut and metabolic imbalances. Not just because dairy animals are injected with antibiotics and hormones that make them and you fatter and bigger. It is also simply a lot of calories, refined and ready to be absorbed for energy and fat deposits. So step number 1, quit dairy, 0, none. And I recommend to approach this whole system as a 14-day experiment. And remember that all the foods, all the cheeses, all your bad habits, not necessarily bad, but habits that prevent you from getting to your goal, all of this will be there, and your favorite cheese also will be there if you miss it during those 14 days so much that you understand, that you figure out that you can't live without it. But anyhow, so today we're talking about practice. How do you actually quit dairy? And the beauty of our food system, guys, one of the beauties of our modern food system with all its imperfections is that you can find substitutions that probably taste better and you might love much better. Substitutions to almost anything in your diet that is not exactly working for you. So you can have your cake or six-pack and eat it too. Just the most important point for this routine, this new habit, this new thing you want to try, experiment you want to try to get leaner and more energized. So don't just quit, and it's good for every habit. Guys, we're not great at quitting, but we are really good at substituting when we do it right. So don't quit, substitute. So the same applies to dairy products. Don't quit your habits. Like if you like, for example, coffee with cream, with heavy cream, get coconut cream. They sell it online. It's very easy to store. It doesn't need refrigeration, so it's canned. You can buy it online to order and deliver, and you can store it so you can buy in bulk, and it's pretty cheap. I'm not even sure if it's as cheap as milk, but it's pretty cheap. So you can get coconut cream, for example, that is totally natural, that is super fatty. When you put a spoon in it, it's gonna stand there. So it's heavy cream, but coconut cream, and it doesn't have that much of coconut taste. So if you like, for example, coffee with heavy cream, then use that. Instead of butter, if you're someone who uses bulletproof kind of coffees, then you'd use a little bit more coconut oil or MCT oil. And with that heavy coconut cream, it might not taste exactly as butter, it's probably not going to be the exact substitution, but after a while you're not going to notice, especially if you use some maybe vanilla extract or something else. But literally, guys, you're not going to feel much of a difference. You're going to enjoy your coffee just as much, and your six-pack gonna show through soon. So think about that when you are substituting your dairy heavy cream for coconut cream. And there are two aspects to substitutions, guys, for dairy products. One has to do with what we already started to discuss. One has to do with substituting for flavor, for texture, for eating experience, and the other one has to do with nutrition. So first, let's talk about the eating experience, right? So one example, as we just talked about, by the way, whenever you hear something and you would like to get more brands, examples of that, I'll try to link some in the show notes, but I obviously cannot link everything. But you can always reach out by email or on any of my social medias, and I'll give you more examples, more brands, more great brands that you can use no matter where in the world you are. The beauty of our food system is no matter where in the world you are, unless you live in indigenous tribe completely cut out of civilization, almost anywhere you can find almost anything. Like, for example, a little bit of side note, I love my sardines, right? And I traveled around the world, Europe, Southeast Asia, Middle East, US, South America, and Russia, and I found those sardines everywhere, and they were local, so they're everywhere, just like a lot of other foods. So coconut cream, you can find it everywhere, and it's a great substitution. But also coconut cream is a great coconut milk is also a great substitution, for example, for your teas, for your coffees, to cook with. And not just coconut milk, of course, you can use almond milk or hazelnut milk or other kinds of non-dairy milks. Just look at the ingredients and try a few ones. Like, I tried many brands, and some almond milks or cashew milks, they're so lovely. Like, they're creamy and rich and just amazing, right? And some of them just taste like water. And if you're someone who for who it's the first trial and you try something that tastes like water, of course you're not gonna want to use it more, and you'll feel like, why do people drink that shit in the first place? But that's because you had a bad experience. But it's not all of the experiences that you can have, so try different ones. And again, if you need some advice for example, for your cashew milk or for almond milk, then ask me. And a lot of those you can actually make yourself if you're someone who like DIY stuff. So milks for your coffees, for your drinks. I don't even know why people drink dairy milk for those things, because there are so many substitutions. For cooking, the same thing. Depending on the dish that you cook, you can find the substitution that worked for that particular recipe. So no matter what you love cooking, maybe you like baking something, there is a substitution that can work for that particular recipe. Again, if you need advice, reach out. The most difficult, or I've been talking to a friend of mine. Well, actually, we've been on a coaching session, and he mentioned what a dairy product that is loved by so many people on low carb, high fat, or on any diet, cheese. Like, people love cheeses. I do too, but I noticed that it just doesn't work for me. My body retains water. I don't feel that great. My digestion is not that great. My energy levels, the amount of sleep I need to recover, that all changes not in a positive direction when I include even a small amount of any kind of cheese in my diet. So he loves eating mozzarella, and he adds it, to his meals. He enjoys it at different times of the day. And to tell him, quit mozzarella, to tell you to quit your cheese and all the dishes where you put it, that I'm sure adds joy and pleasure to your day. To tell you to just quit it, I might do it, but most of you won't. Like, you would quit it for, a couple of weeks and then you'll get back to it. But the hack to that, not to get back to your cheeses, is to check out all the amazing vegan brands. And in that particular case, I'm not a fan of fake products or food category substitutions, because they're nutritionally different. But if you're looking for eating experience to substitute your cheeses for taste, for texture, for joy of eating, for pleasure of eating, for certain recipes, then vegan substitutes, there are pretty good ones that make really great cheeses of all sorts. Mozzarella, cheddar cheese, cheese that goes in whole pieces, cheese spreads, cheese strings. There are really great substitutions. One of my favorite cheese spread substitution, that is like crack made from almonds. It's kite, heel, chive, with chives. It's not flavored. Actually, everything is natural there. There are some other herbs, Italian herbs, and cucumbers or dills. Anyway, dill, cucumbers, and chives. Anyhow, I'm gonna link it in the show notes. It's like crack made from almonds. That's how good it is. And if I gave it to you to taste, you wouldn't know a difference between vegan almond cheese and dairy cheese. And the ingredient list is super clean with just, the bacteria that ferments the cheese, and herbs, and salt, and almonds, obviously. So that's just one example. I'm gonna link in the show notes a few brands that do the best vegan cheese substitutes, dairy substitutes, and try a few of those. Order a few of those, create this tasting experience and see what you like the best, the most, and then try incorporating it in your recipes. And in a couple of weeks, you won't even know what that whole thing about cheese was about, because you're gonna feel so great and amazing, not missing out at all with all these substitutions that are that do not harm your health, and taste just like cheese, but also will help you to get your six-pack sooner and just feel more energy. That's the main reason for me, actually, why I don't eat dairy at all. So the second aspect, though, is nutrition. Dairy products do have a lot of calcium. So for that, you will need other foods. And you'd be surprised that, for example, my favorite sardines, 6 ounces of sardines, that is like a normal portion that you would have for one meal, has 880 milligrams of calcium. To give you an idea, per day, based on modern day recent standards, you need to get around 1,100 milligrams of calcium. From that portion of sardines per one meal, you're going to get 880 milligrams. So it's almost everything you need. And then other sources are flax seeds, sesame seeds. Sesame seeds per 100 grams, you get 990 milligrams of calcium. So it's quite an amazing food. And, sesame seed milk that you can make yourself, and some brands make that too. Like, it will give you all the calcium without any fortification that you need. So sesame seeds, chia seeds, per 100 grams, they have 660 milligrams of calcium. And then also flax seeds that also have some calcium. So those are the sources that you can add. And some green vegetables like collard greens, for example, have calcium too. And those are two aspects, the tasting experience and the nutrition aspect, that you want to be aware of when doing those substitutions and eliminating that food group out of your diet. And that covers today's topic. So this was step number 1, quit dairy, 0, none, for 14 days to see how much progress you're gonna get. But stay tuned, guys, for another 4 steps that we will cover tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, and then during the weekend prepare for your 2-week experiment to get more energy and to get leaner, to see your six-pack sooner. And then tell me how you did. Just take it seriously, do it 100% for 2 weeks with all the substitutions and all the walkthroughs that we will walk through the next few days. And yeah, do it 100%, commit to it. 14 days, anyone can do it. Plus, I'm not telling you to not eat or anything crazy. It's just being smart about your nutrition and do a little bit of preparation. So over the weekend, you're going to prepare for these 5 steps, and they're pretty easy, actually, all of them. Probably dairy products is the most difficult one. Well, depends, where you come from what kind of nutrition approach. So do them and then report back. That would mean a world to me. That would be like the biggest thank you I could ever get from you, actually doing the things and telling me how it worked, or maybe something didn't work for you. So I'd love to know all of that too. And that's it for today, guys. So quit dairy. That's step number 1 to leaner, more energetic, a better you, to have a better, awesome life experience. And also check out the blog that I'm gonna link in the show notes if you're someone who would like to get ahead and peek at all the steps in that blog that got the most views in the first days. My blog seemed to have more of a long tail feedback, meaning at first they do not get a lot of views, but then they get a lot of views, and over the long term, like for example, if you Google a book, The Longevity Diet, my blog gonna pop up in Google, like that's how popular it got. But at first, not many people looked at it. So that's how it works in my world. Quit dairy. Check out the blog, check out all the brands, and think what you need to do to substitute, to make different substitutions to make quit dairy habit work for you. So thank you guys for tuning in. Check out all the links, and what I was going to say? Until next time, guys, eat better daily.